There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to words of Professor Buitron.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. There's a great question that was brought to me this past weekend. It's one that many of us are, how can I say, forget about. And that is, how do we evaluate our training, our martial art, what we do? But before we get that started, if you like this message, click the share button, click the like button, make a comment, because we're doing this for you all. Well, number one, a little briefing on me. I've been teaching martial arts for 3 decades now. And within those decades, I have noticed not only trends, it's what you want your students to be, okay? You have to remember one thing. If you come into a martial arts school, and I'm going to talk about Savate, because Savate, I've been doing it for now 48 years, okay? Imagine that, 48 years. That's how long I've been training in Savate. So 48 years of training Savate. I've been teaching Savate since 88. So you can do the math. One thing that I've noticed is why people train. Do people train to better themselves? Naturally. Do they train to get fit? In a way. Do they train for what? Many and the vast majority of people that come into a martial arts school, when to come into a Savate school, is because they want to learn how to fight. They want to learn how to defend themselves, and they want to learn either something has happened to them in the street, they've experienced something, they have seen something, that they are in a type of environment that they want to get out of and they need help, and they usually find a martial arts school for that. Okay? And then you also have other martial arts. Really doesn't matter which martial art you're looking for. I'm just trying to say that that's what the majority of people that do Savate come for. Okay? Yes, you're going to get those guys who want to compete in the ring. You're going to get the combative element of in Savate. You're going to have those guys that compete. But let's talk about fighting. Let's talk about street fighting. Let's talk about how prepared are you in reality? Okay, I'm not saying that because you're training, you're going to go unscathed in the street element. No, I'm trying to tell you, can you survive a street altercation? Number one, I want everybody to get this clear. I do not condone fighting, but I also do not condone somebody that's going to cower when something is being done towards them. Okay? I don't want anybody either to go out there and become heroes, because that's not what this is about. I just want you all to realize a couple of things. A street altercation, a street fight, usually takes anywhere between 8 to 10 seconds, and it's over with. It's done. Okay? If it goes over that, most street altercations are going to end up in the floor. They're going to go to the ground. And that's it. Usually you're going to have people trying to break in and trying to be heroes for that matter. But let's break it down to something else. How good are you? How prepared are you? Because when you go into a street situation and a street situation comes in, what's your scale? Let's break it down. Okay? Because whatever your training is, that's what you're bringing into the table. That's it. There's no more training. It's there. It's done. So that said, let's, I want you all to scale a couple of things from 1 to 10 and be honest. Scale the martial arts school that you are in from 1 to 10. One, maybe what the students are not capable of defending themselves in the street. Maybe they're geared for tournament fighting. Maybe they're geared for demonstrations. Maybe they're geared for something else. Maybe they're geared for sport combativeness. Okay, 1 to 10. Where's that school? Where do you scale that school? Next, where do you scale your instructor from 1 to 10? Do you scale them a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 10? Naturally, he should be better than you. But you also get into some situations when you have an older gentleman that's teaching and he's passing on knowledge because he doesn't want this knowledge to die. That occurs sometimes. I had my teacher was 80 in his 80s when I trained with him. That was Roger Lafont, 80s and 90s. Imagine that. Now my uncle had rheumatoid arthritis. But he was passing on knowledge left and right. So passing on knowledge does not mean talking about a good, able person that's teaching every day. I want you to scale those from 1 to 10. Are they able to? Can they? Do they have the structure? Do they have the attitude? Some people might be wearing rank, but couldn't fight the way out of a wet paper bag. I want you all to understand, because this type of business, this is to protect you guys and for you guys. You all are what our product is. Remember that. Next, scale yourself. Many people are going to say, why do you want us to scale ourselves? I'm training. Yeah, you might be training, but are you able to, when you hit somebody, are you able to knock them down with that power? When you hit somebody in the face, are you able to cut with that punch? Or it's just going to be looking back in there. There's some tough guys out there. Remember, in the street, you don't know what you're going to get into. You don't know who you're going to go up against, how many or what. So when things escalate in the street, are you prepared enough for that? And if you are not, scale yourself. Okay? Because if you're 100% and the scale from 1 to 10 is a 3, remember, in a street altercation, divide that by 50%. So you're going in with a 1.5. Why is that? Because automatically, for being in the street, 50% of everything that happens goes out the window. There's a lot of elements that occur: weather, clothing, attitude, readiness, mindset, fear. All that is the other person better trained than you? Is the other person younger than you? Is the other person in better condition with you? Is the other person on drugs? All that influence that. So by just a nominal guess, and I'm being very frugal, divided by half. A lot of police officers might not like what I'm talking about, but it is the truth. Okay? So you have to understand that. So if my top training, and I scale myself, is a 5, when I go into the street, that's going to be a what? 2.5. All right? If you scale yourself a 10, then you're going to go in as a 5. And if you have a 10 with power where you can hit somebody, you cut them, you're able to damage them with your strikes, then it's a different story. But remember, folks, a street altercation only takes top ones 8 to 10 seconds. You better be on your game. So scale that. And if the school comes down and your school maybe is a 2, start looking what are the benefits of that school. Is a style for that? Because remember, every style of martial art has its good and has its bad. Okay? Do not compare somebody that's doing Tai Chi and all of a sudden that person, most people that do Tai Chi are in their 60s, go up against somebody that pulls out a blade and is 20 years old and has been practicing in a bladed system. Only 2 different ends. Remember, nobody cares about your style. Nobody cares about your rank. And nobody cares on how good you are in the street. So be honest with yourself. Don't get blindsided. And if you do not have that punch to knock somebody down when you point blank, you hit somebody, that person stumbles, you don't have that. Start training them. Ask your instructor, can you teach me more? I'm lacking in this. Understand? So next time, much peace. You all stay safe. Be safe. And again, God bless you all. Till next time.